But I love the topic of the book that you just wrote.
Okay, thank you.
Bold.
Yeah.
And what I want to know from Julie O'Neill is, what's that mean to you?
And first of all, my working title initially was If I Could Be So Bold, because then the thought continues, then you can too. So the whole concept of doing this and the reason for doing this is that as I sat down and started looking at what the wins were, and when I say wins, that includes surviving the losses. Those are the biggest wins, are they not, Mark?
Yep. I've learned more from my losses in life than my wins.
Of course.
Yeah.
So to me, as I started to see the theme that developed, it was the boldness that made the difference. And so what does that mean? First of all, it's not confidence. Confidence will increase your boldness, but you can be bold not knowing what you're doing at the beginning of your career. It's a mindset, as I say in the book, you can pick up like a briefcase and bring in with you. You decide to do it. And then there are tools that you can use that will enable you to bring that boldness, even if you have a lack of confidence. One of them is to understand the great gem that is fake it till you make it. And I talked about in the book that there's science to it. And I didn't realize that till I went to write the book. Because if I'm a news person, right, at heart, then I'm a researcher, and I don't want to put something in just because it seemed right to me. I'm going to look and see if there's anything to back it up. And I found some great jewels that there's scientific evidence that what fires together wires together. My first time anchoring, was my first time anchoring. There are 3 cameras pointed at me. There's something in my ear where I'm hearing a director and a producer, and different lights come on. You don't know which camera to look at, and you're figuring all that out as you're trying to read a teleprompter that may or may not be moving quickly enough, or may go away altogether. In which case, you better have been turning the pages of your script. I mean, so I pretended I was Connie Chung. Connie Chung was the girl at that time. Right, Shelby? Can I talk to Shelby?
Yeah, talk to Shelby. This is the first time she's been in here.
Shelby, tell the truth. Do you know who Connie Chung is? She doesn't know. Thank you for your honesty. That was bold. Connie Chung was the woman. She was the main female anchor.
She was a badass.
Yeah, at that time.
Yep.
And
on national
network for ABC, or was it CBS? I don't remember now.
You would know that.
But anyway, she was the one that broke through. And so pretending that I was she enabled my whole body changed. And I was able to, just by, not trying to speak like she does, whatever, but just kind of channeling that, I was able to be more confident on the set and do a better job.
Did you go into it with that thought, let me be like Connie, or did you need to go to it in the moment?
It just came to me to do it. And so that's what I did. And I found that it helped me. And I don't even think that I dissected it at the time. It was just subconsciously, I knew that worked. So I did more and more of that until I got to the point in my career where I pretended I was me.
When did that happen? 3 years?
Many years later.
5 years?
Many years later.
Was that kind of when it slowed down? Was there a moment for you where it was just a bunch of things happening like you just described in the beginning, and you're like, I got to be like Connie Chung. I have to be like Connie Chung.
And it wasn't being like her. It was putting on her confidence. It was pretending that I was Connie so that I could handle the cameras and the lights and say the words and take that beat to look down at my script if the teleprompter went down. All of those things. It was something that...
And it's not confidence,
that fueled it is confidence there because but it wasn't mine. It was channeling somebody else's. Because you don't have confidence until you have wins. You don't have self-esteem until you have wins.
Yeah, until you can believe you've done it and I can
and I didn't have any yet. So until you have your own and have time to have success, then channel somebody else's.
So why'd you keep going in all those moments until you're like, then I want to be Julie?
And then
what keeps you going?
At some point, I had enough successes and wins And, whether it was the exclusive interview or I did really well with that interview or getting nuggets in that report that I did, I was always a reporter first. Because when you're a reporter, you have one story for the day and you're owning that story. And if you don't think that's the most important story of the day, you shouldn't be telling it. Your enthusiasm is what drives other people's enthusiasm for what you have to say. There's a lot of competition, much more today than there was then, for your time and space, and people can get what they need from a website.
So what's the research behind, you said fake it till you make it, because there are what we would consider very prominent people on both sides of that opinion. There are, and so I don't know where I fall, because I do feel like, yes, you should believe in yourself. You should be bold enough to go out and take action, right? But what's the fake it till you make it?
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you think of Beyonce and her dancing?
What do I think?
And her confidence level on the stage?
I would assume it's a 10.
Okay.
I would assume. I don't know what's going on inside, but she makes me feel like it's a 10.
Does anybody in this room know who she has pretended to be on many occasions in order to be able to go on stage and be Beyonce? Thank you.
What was that?
She didn't know Connie. She didn't know Connie Chung. But she would pretend that she was this made-up character, Sash Fierce, because she was naturally shy. And so the rest of us in this world are pretending we're Beyonce when we're gonna go out there and dance.
Because we're not.
I'm more like Elaine Bennis on Seinfeld. That's a whole other story, Mark. But Beyonce, the queen,
of the
is
stage.
going out there pretending she's Sasha Fierce. Are you kidding me? It was something that naturally came to her, I imagine. She and I only talk once a week, so I hadn't asked her that. But there was something that she needed to be able to go out, and certainly what we see on stage and her singing and her performing is real, and it's Beyonce. But in order to get there, she needed this tool. And I think we can all agree that it worked.
So do you think the fake it till you make it is what's inside of us?
I'll give you another analogy. If someone says you're full of anxiety, so close your eyes for me right now, Mark, if you would. Now you're on a beach.
I just was.
The waves are rolling in, and you smell the salty air. What's happening to your heart rate?
It's slowing down.
Okay. Are you really at the beach?
I believe I am.
Okay. So the thought is with this is that your brain does not know the difference between what's real and what's not. When you're thinking about that thing, your body just changed. So this is all, you just proved it right there, the science.
It's subconscious things.
And so there's some, how many millions of books talk about what you tell yourself. You're an entrepreneur. It's what you feed yourself. Yeah. One of the great things I got from my dad, I'd love to share here, Mark, if
Let's
I might.
do it. So
this is not in the book.
No, here's what's also, I want you to talk about.
He's going to give me the list, friends.
No, I just, there's just one thing. There's just one thing.
Keep her moving.
There's one thing about your dad that you think he was the best singer of our father.
Yeah, he absolutely was. And look, he had the pipes. There's no question about it. I just posted it on Father's Day. Have you been stalking me on Facebook?
I have a
Mark?
job to do, and I make sure I show up as a professional.
How about it?
But here's what I knew from that. Your dad is somebody very special in your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
My dad, you can hear his faith in his voice, and you've heard a lot of different singers and people with great operatic voices, and sometimes you really hear the feeling in there, and sometimes you don't. It was always real with Dad, and that made it that much more beautiful. Dad told me a story about the two wolves when I was little. Have you heard about the two wolves?
Let's hear it.
So the young Native American boy says to the chieftain, his grandfather, talks to him about the difficulty in life and making decisions and knowing what's right and wrong. And so the chieftain tells the story about the two wolves. And everybody has the two wolves in their ear. And one is saying, all the good things. You got this. It's all going to be fine. You're amazing, and you can do this, and all that. The other one is saying, you're an imposter. You're a loser. This is not going to turn out right. It never has. It's not going to. All the negative. And so then the little boy says to his grandfather, the great wise chieftain, well, which one wins? Because they're at war with each other. And the chieftain says, the one you feed.